Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda Rose, and this week I am finishing off my 6th week of working from home. So you all know that I am a New York City teacher, and working from home is such a different experience than being in the building. And I never ever knew how hard it was to actually work from home. And so for the people who have done this long term, for people who work from home on a regular basis, so much respect, because it requires a whole different level of like motivation, dedication, and also self-discipline. So there's a few things that I've learned while I've been home for the last 6 weeks, and I wanted to share them with you. It's pretty much 8 ways to stay motivated while working from home. Now, I've seen a lot of these suggestions already out there on the internet. So again, I'm not going to say anything that's like super mind-blowing, but it's things that have worked for me or that I'm learning work for me, and so I need to continue to implement them. So let's get right into this video. Hopefully you like what you see and you decide to subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you also like this video, and let's get into it. 8 ways to stay motivated while working from home. Number 1, create a healthy and positive morning routine. I am such a morning person, and with work, getting up early, I had a routine. I knew I would drink my coffee, I would get to the train at this time, I would make time for breakfast or whatever the case may be. And so staying home has totally thrown off the morning routine. But those principles still have to exist, just in a completely different way. So you want to create a morning routine that is healthy and positive for you. So for myself, I like waking up and having my cup of coffee. That is like my go-to. I feel like I can function once I have my coffee. Getting up late, getting up at 11 or 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you've missed so much of the day, and it kind of is harder to get into a routine when you get up later, because then by the time you've finished your routine, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's like, man, now what? So I would highly encourage getting up early and creating a healthy and positive morning routine. Eating things that are healthy. I love avocado toast in the morning. Maybe you're eating oatmeal, you're getting your eggs, but make sure that you create a routine that is positive and that will make you feel good and set the tone for the rest of your day. Number 2, shower and get dressed. Usually when we're going to work, we're actually leaving our house, and so being home is just so different. I was talking with a friend and I was like, I just feel like such a slob because I'm in my pajamas all day and I don't really feel like doing anything. And the missing key is getting dressed. Now, of course, I'm not gonna walk around my house with a shirt like this all day, but getting into some yoga pants and a t-shirt, or I just purchased a bunch of loungewear that are not pajamas. I realize that I just feel better when I get dressed after I get out of the shower, as opposed to putting pajamas back on. There's something about getting dressed that makes you feel like, okay, I need to do something now. Like, I got ready. The next step is to actually do something. So I would highly encourage that. If you feel like, ugh, I'm just like not with it, I would say change out of your pajamas. You don't have to put on jeans. Ugh, I haven't worn jeans in months. But definitely put on something that is not your typical everyday wear, so that you do feel like, okay, I got ready today, and now the next step is to actually be productive. Next one, number 3, create a designated workspace. Now, again, this is not something that I really needed when I was working in a school building. I did a lot of my work at school. I tried not to take a lot of things home. I would prefer to stay at work until 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night and get everything done there than check a bunch of stuff home and having to grade at home. So I never really had a designated workspace, and for about the first 4 weeks of working from home, I was just using a folding table that you eat on, and I sat on my sofa with my folding table and I just stayed there on my laptop. but after a while my back started to hurt. It was really hard to focus, or I would just like cozy up on my sofa and I was just like, I'll get to it later. And so having a workspace that is separate from your lounge space is really important. Now I know a lot of people don't have the luxury of creating a completely separate space. I get it. But I've seen so many people be creative online, again, using a folding table and just sitting there so that you're at least a little bit more upright. Also seen people use their ironing board and it's right in front of their bed, and they'll just sit here on their ironing board and they have a huge space. And so it's just about using the things that are already readily available in your home. You don't have to go out and buy something. Another thing, put away your electronics. I don't like to sit there with my phone and have everything out. I like to put everything away. I can get so much more done in an hour of my undivided attention than trying to sit there with my phone and get something done for the next 3 hours. Next tip, create goals. Just because we're stuck at home doesn't mean that our lives have ended, and it doesn't mean that there will not be life after quarantine is over. And so it's really important to keep the bigger picture in perspective. Right now we're home, right? Right now we're stuck here, but this is temporary, and long term we will still have to move on with life at some point. And so create goals. Remind yourself like, hey, I'm doing this because of the bigger picture, right? I'm doing this because I want to make sure that my students are equipped with the skills necessary for when they do enter the next grade. You want to think of bigger picture and create goals that will help encourage you and motivate you and keep them posted places so that when you are working, you can have that constant reminder of why you are doing what you're doing. Now, along those lines of creating goals, the next tip would be to create to-do lists. Every single day I have a to-do list. I have a notepad that I write them on. When I was at work, I used to write them on Post-its, and you can still write them on Post-its or whatever you have available, but creating to-do lists so that once you've had your morning routine, even if your routine consists of watching Netflix for an hour or two, do you. But once your routine is over, once you've showered, once you're dressed, it's time to work. And so you want to create a to-do list so that you know what you have ready for the day and you don't waste time. So if your to-do list is to grade papers for an hour, grade papers. If your to-do list is to clean your bedroom and to dust and mop and sweep and all of that, then do that. But you want to make sure that you have things laid out in front of you. I've also read, and my husband is always reminding me, that it just takes so much brain power to constantly remind yourself of what you're supposed to do, and that gets tiring, and there's only so many decisions in a day that we can make. And so having you write those things down, you empty your brain out of everything that you were constantly trying to remember to do, and then you just look at the list, do it, and mark it off. Look at the list, do it, and mark it off. So again, I live by to-do lists. I've been talking about these since I did my journal video about 2 years ago. That is the easiest way to stay productive and to stay on task. Next thing, get in the sun. The sun is so important. Not only is it a great source of vitamin D, but the sun just does something to your mood, right? It energizes you, it makes you feel good. And so I know that one, depending on where you live, it's been so cloudy in New York. We had a beautiful day, like in the 70s a couple of days ago. And as quickly as that day came, is as quickly as it went. But take advantage of nice weather. I know that some people probably don't have access to a backyard like we don't, or being able to go outside. But we have a fire escape, and we sit on our fire escape and we try to spend at least a half an hour to an hour out there. But the sun just does something to your mood. Again, it makes you feel better, it energizes you, it's healthy, it boosts your immune system. And I have been in the sun and then came back in my apartment like, okay, now what's next? So it definitely just feels good to go outside, get some fresh air, and soak in that sun. Next one. Talk to people who will encourage you and motivate you. This point is so important. I've spoken about this in previous videos, but how our mental state is so important during this time and being home and being isolated from other people. I'm thankful that I'm not by myself and that I have my husband. And so for me, he is my go-to person when I'm not feeling in the mood, when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling like, what's the point of this all? You know, he is there to remind me. He's a great encourager, a great supporter, and I am thankful for him and the advice that he provides. And I'm also thankful for his honesty when there are times when he's just been like, hey, you've been doing stuff all day. Like, it's okay. You can relax. You can take a second. You don't have to do that today. And I'm like, you're right. I don't. But it's definitely important to reach out to people that you know will encourage you. Not necessarily people that are always going to be like, go, 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 keep going, and then you're pushed to your breaking point, but people who genuinely have your best interest in mind. And it might just be one person for you, right? Those people are really hard to find, but look for those people and then reach out to them. For me personally, if I'm feeling unmotivated, the last thing I want to do is talk to someone who's like, yeah, I haven't done anything all day. Yeah, I've been watching Netflix all day. Yeah, I haven't even cooked anything all day. Yeah, I haven't even gotten out of bed. And I'm just like, ugh. Like, that just makes me feel like, all right, fine. I don't have to do anything either. But I know that deep down in my core, that's not who I am, right? And so definitely reaching out to people who will encourage you, motivate you, and not make you feel bad about yourself. And then my last tip for staying motivated, don't be so hard on yourself. We are experiencing something that we have never experienced before, at least our generation. And so if you want to take a mental break that exists of a week, do you. There is no time limit for how long of a break you need to recuperate, to feel good mentally, physically, spiritually, and then to get back on track. The worst thing you can do is compare yourself to other people. You know yourself best, right? And the whole point of this is to self-reflect and be like, you know what? I have kind of been in a slump, right? I admitted that to myself. I was like, I've been in a slump. I need to film a video. I need to get out of this zone. And so definitely take the time that you need because that's important, but also it's okay to rest, right? It's okay to give yourself those mental breaks. It's okay to step away from everything. It's okay to shut off social media. It's okay to just be by yourself for a few days and you want to like reflect, but definitely get back into it, okay? Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't compare yourself. That is the thief of all joy when you look at what other people are doing and you're like, oh, I knew I should have been doing more. Don't do it. Be nice to yourself, love on yourself, and definitely make sure that you stay in a good headspace so that you can stay motivated. And those are the things that I've learned so far in the last 6 weeks of working from home. I hope that they're helpful. And as always, please write down in the comments below things that you have done to stay motivated. And I will see you guys in the next